April 1889. Dearest Uncle Orange Jr., our despair has turned to great hope. You may recall that May 21st, 1881 was a morning of great tragedy in our little village. The town folks were startled from their beds in the wee hours of the morning to the cries of "Fire! Fire!" The people of this community always rally together with only ladders and a dozen buckets. The four corners have been forever altered. Businesses such as the cigar factory, shoe shop, the Nichols Brothers drugstore and doctor's office, jewelry store, dental offices, grocery stores, a millinery store, and many residences. In all, 22 buildings were lost. Thankfully, no lives were lost. The only method for fighting fires at the time of the fire was the bucket system. This system had been in place in many communities since the founding of our country, and it was no match to this enormous fire. The system required every house to have a bucket of water on the front stoop to assist a bucket brigade in fighting a fire. At the first cry of fire on this devastating night, a woman and her daughter grabbed buckets and ran to Finch's store. Soon, other townspeople were grabbing buckets and running from the fire and back to the pump over and over again. Many climbed ladders to attempt to douse the fire. The bravery of these men and women was astonishing. After the fire, it was clear that there was a great need in our community for better fire protection. Always so generous, William Davenport and his son Beverly purchased a pump wagon to replace the bucket system that was found to be so inefficient during this great fire. Beverly is now the chief of the new fire company in Saline. Many business owners and residents decided to remain in this community, and a great rebuilding effort got underway. You would hardly recognize the four corners of the village of Saline now. Jacob Sturm and his brother, Louis, still operate their harness shop downtown. It is a thriving business. You can see horses and buggies lined up waiting for service. There is a new bank in town called Citizens Bank. You might remember that William Davenport had a store downtown. It had the only safe in town, and soon the townfolk were visiting the store to use the safe more frequently than they were visiting to make purchases. In 1885, William decided to close the store and open a bank in its place. The switch has proven to be a successful venture for the Davenport family. You might recall that Beverly and his wife Emily built their Henry Street home in the shadow of his parents' home. Beverly assists his father at the bank when he isn't working as the fire company chief. The Davenports have done so much for this town. Their involvement and generosity are unmatched. William's position as a board member of the Detroit, Hillsdale, and Indiana Railroad and his efforts to work with the citizens of Saline to raise $75,000 brought the railroad to our community. Many farmers and businesses are thriving now because they are able to ship their goods out of the town in addition to selling here locally. It is also a great way to travel. You should consider a railroad trip home to visit. Did you hear that even Abraham Lincoln made a stop here at our depot? The downtown area is blossoming with many new businesses where the fire destroyed the original old buildings. These new buildings are made of brick. The village people refer to the area as the Wallace Block. The Burkhart brothers have a dry goods business. J.G. Frank Bakery is well known for baked goods and fresh candies, and L.M. Thorne has a grocery store that will make deliveries. There is even a new store called Graduate Opticians with ready-to-wear glasses. Perhaps the most exciting development is on the second floor of these buildings. We now have a beautiful new opera house. It has been used for all sorts of functions. Many entertaining evenings can be found on the second floor of the Wallace Block. As you can see, hope has returned to our village. The fire could have devastated this community, but as always, Saline pushes ahead and continues to thrive. The future is filled with hope once again. We miss you and hope this letter finds you well in California. With love, your niece, Isadore.